Hello everybody and welcome back to Benjamin Magnus Plays Aurora 4X. Last episode we spent a lot of time designing missiles for our budding military, and I made a little mistake and forgot to save one of my designs, but I went back and redesigned it. I made it actually a little bit bigger. It's actually a lot a bit bigger. I couldn't get it to be a nice round number like I liked it, but it was close enough. So we're going to have a size 1 missile, although I think I'm going to need a size 2 launcher to fit these actually, which I'm not super happy with. Maybe I could fix that. If it's exactly size 1, might be able to fix it. So let's go to the Mini Maximus. And that's this guy right here. So Wait. I'm a little confused. Is this not showing me the design for the Mini Maximus? I guess not. All right, never mind then. Never mind. I guess we're just gonna go with that. I mean, we could always try again to design it. Well, why don't we look real fast, see if we can't redesign that missile to be exactly 1. So we wanted to have the smaller engine, 1 engine, and let's see. If we want to try to make this exactly 1, it needs a very tiny range, like that, and it's already size 1.4. Oh, you know what? The warhead. There we go. Now it's 0.7. All right, now if I just creep up the agility until it's exactly the right size. Oh wait, that's sorry, there's a cat on the desk again. Same cat. 0.2. One, 2, 2, 3, or 2, 3. 2, 4, 2, 5, 5. That's exactly size 1. That is exactly size 1. So that's better. And it actually has more range than I wanted. Has a really good chance to hit. I mean, well, something going. That's not too bad, actually. I think that's better than what I had designed before. So can we create size 1 anti-missile missile? Create that. So let's go to our research and let's delete this one. Because if it's exactly size 1, I could fit it into a smaller launcher than if it's size 1.1. Because that would have to go into a size 2 launcher. So then we would need to find size 1 anti-missile. There we go. And research complete. Size 1 anti-missile missile. Now we're not done yet. There's still more stuff we need to design. Still much more stuff we need to design. So we're going to need to design a magazine for each missile. We have one of the efficiencies done, 80% ejection system. This basically is saying that if the module is destroyed, there's an 80% chance that the live munitions will be ejected instead of detonating. The best armor we have is ceramic composite, so we're going to use that. The magazine side is how many missiles this is going to hold. And hit to kill is basically like how many points of damage it'll take before it'll go critical and explode. So right now it has a capacity of 16. So if we, for every 1 point in magazine size, it's going to increase the number of missiles held in it. Or is that right? Is that right? That seems... I think this is capacity in missile size points. So if you had, it could fit 16 size 1 missiles, but it can only fit 8 size 2 missiles. I think. And then if we increase its hits to kill, increases the number of crew and the number and it reduces its capacity. All right, so I think what we're going to want here is the largest possible magazine. It's a hull size, still a hull size of 0, and a crew of only 15 people. It'll hold 480 anti-missile missiles, in which I think that's what we're going to want, because we're going to need maximum ammo capacity, basically. If we increase hits to kill, it doesn't decrease it that much, so that would make it, tougher. Why don't we go hits to kill 5, so there's less chance of ammunition store of 450 missiles going up in flame. That'll also hold 45 larger missiles in it as well. So why don't we create that? I think that's good. All right, so let's create that. And then we're going to have to research that as well. So I believe that's going to be under missile and kinetic. So it should be, yeah. So we're going to need that as well. Missile and kinetic, add those to it. We're going to create that job. This one actually did have a decent amount of research required, not like the missiles, which was pretty low. So let's let a tick go by. This is what I love about this game, is it's so in-depth. It's not just pick a missile. It's not just design a missile. You have to design the engines for the missile. You have to design the internal components for the missile. You have to design the magazines for the missile. You have to design the launchers for the missiles. That's just to get, a freaking missile going. That's what I'm loving about this. And this is all, like I said, this is all pretty new to me. So I think the same magazine would work for both sets of missiles. It would carry a specific amount of each, 450 anti-missile missiles, but it would carry something like 50 anti-ship missiles. So I think we only need the one magazine, so let's go to launchers now. Now the launchers, I can make one large launcher and it'll launch both the large ones and the small ones, because you can launch smaller missiles than your launcher size. You can't launch bigger missiles than your launcher size. So we're definitely going to do two different missiles. Precision arms, I like that. Size 1 missile launcher. So yep, that's correct right there. The size needs to be 1. Missile launcher reload rate is going to be 1. This is going to be a ship-based system. You can add that. They could either be mounted on ships or they could be mounted on PDCs, which are planetary defense complexes or planetary defense systems. I don't think it matters, but we're going to make these ship-based. And reduced size launcher, standard size and standard reload rate. So not much we can do with this, so we're just going to create that 40 roll, and then we're also going to need to create a larger one, a size 10 launcher. And if we, I think, yeah, right down here. So these will fire, the anti-missile missiles will fire every 30 seconds. It takes 30 seconds to reload and fire a missile. A size 10 missile, which is what we're working with, fires every 300 seconds. So it's 10 times longer to reload a size 10 missile. Makes sense. So we're going to create that as well. So you're going to want to set up batteries of these things. You don't want to just put one on a ship. You're going to want to set up batteries of them. So now we're going to go to research again. And we're going to go to... Again, we're going to go to missile and kinetic. And what I'm going to do is strip everything off of anybody who's not doing something critical at the moment. Well, actually, all these people are working on critical components, aren't they? Those are sensors and things like that. This one we're going to delete because we're not going to use that one. It was slightly too large. And what we needed was the... I did that twice. I thought I hit that twice. This one, okay, that's fine. Let's create. Let's just give them one lab to do that. That's easy. Create. Yes. And then we're the size 10 missile launcher. The missile sizes are actually 9.5, but that means I need to round up. And let's let this go by. Research complete. Size 9.5 missile. Instruction. So I think there should be 3 labs finished actually. So let's just add right there. Got to complete all these systems before we can do anything else. And then what we're going to do is, I think we're going to design... I was thinking about designing a planetary defense complex, but I think what we're going to do instead is design some sort of destroyer. Not something huge, basically a small military craft. Complete with missile launchers. Yeah, that one's going to take a while, but all this stuff's got to finish up. We got to finish everything before we can really do something, so... 450 capacity mag. So I basically built these huge magazines. So hopefully we're not going to need a ton of them. Because I haven't built supply ships, and I haven't messed around with that yet, so I don't know really how that works. Because what you could do is when you design ships, you can designate them as tankers, so the fleets will automatically refuel from them. Colliers, which I believe they'll automatically replenish supplies or something like that. And supply ships will do munition. No, or maybe this is supplies and this is munitions. One of them is one and one of them's the other. I don't remember which. And we have 5 inactive labs because we finished something. So what we're going to need to do is add them in here. This one we don't need all that into. The missile fire control we do, though. Alright, so we got to finish up those fire controls before we can do anything else. I don't know if the Ross aliens will come after me or not, but it scares me, because I've never really had any actual combat before in this game. So active search sensors, we want to make sure those finish up, so we're going to dump everything into that. Research required is 4,000, so it's going to be less than a year. New civilian mining colony on Pluto. Why don't we actually look at that? I haven't looked at this in a while. Pluto has 3 civilian mines on it, has sizable quantities of duranium and boronide at decent accessibility. And I don't know if this is if this is really worth it purchasing, because there's just not anything I really desperately need. Like, I would consider buying these, though. So let's actually purchase that up from here. And then deliver it to Earth. Wow, Temple. Temple's actually great. Yeah, definitely purchase that one. And ship that to Earth. I mean, that's a lot of stuff from a comet. All right. So now basically everybody's shipping everything off to Earth right now. Let's put on like 5-day auto turns. See the mineral packets shooting in. The Pluto mining colony expanded. I like how there's a jump point almost inside the sun. Not quite, but almost. We could actually probably do 30-day auto turns if I wanted to. Let's see, where were we at? We almost there. 500 left. 90. 27. There we go, done. So the research finished. So I'm pretty sure... Oh, you know what I just thought? We never designed a military-grade engine either. So that might be something we want to work on too. So we've always built commercial engines. Commercial engines are slow, but have very good fuel efficiency. So what we'd probably want to do is do something more like at least engine power 1. Or we can make it, you know, see this is starting to get exponentially more fuel consumed. So let's go for 1. Make it a little more fuel efficient here. No point in not doing it. And now we want to change the hull size. And generally with military grade engines, you want to keep it as small as possible. But of course that means it's not as powerful. So this would be a tiny, tiny, tiny little engine. We're not building, we're kind of building, this would be for like a fighter or something like that. We need something with a little more oomph to it. And I believe The biggest commercial engine we built was 300 engine power. So I could do that with a 25 hull size. I could get 25. I could get the same engine power with half the size. Or what I could do is increase the engine power and decrease the size at the expense of fuel consumption. But I don't think the fuel consumption is going to be a huge deal for me at this point. So 20 hull size, that's pretty good. I think I actually will go with that. We're going to suggest a name, Lucanius Research Incorporated. We're going to create that design, 1500. Because I definitely wanted a military-grade engine as well. Now, that military-grade engine puts out the same power as my commercial-grade engine at like 60% reduced size and increased fuel consumption, of course. So that's, again, one more thing we're going to need to research. So let's go to power and propulsion. We're going to find the Lucanius Research Institute's or Incorporated 300 engine power ion drive, and we're going to put everybody into that, and that should I mean, at that rate, we're gonna, annual research is 1,800, so we're gonna get this done in like a few months or something, or like 1 month or something like that. Just over a month. It was more like 2 months actually. All right, so we finished that. Okay, now why don't we try to design our first military craft? This is not again. This is new for me, so. Let's make a new hull, the Urgent Fury, and we're going to classify this as a what? Okay, is there a missile boat, missile cruiser, missile defense base, missile destroyer? Or why don't we just call it a destroyer? This missile destroyer seems like something that would destroy missiles. All right, so we have our first destroyer, the Urgent Fury. All right. Now we're gonna want to throw in our Lucanius Research. I'm gonna keep calling it Institute because I like the sound of that. 300 engine power ion drive. That's immediately going to jump its speed up to 10,000 kilometers per second, but we haven't added anything else into it. Now, these ships are going to be built for combat. They're going to be built to take damage. They're supposed to take hits, so we're going to have to increase our armor rating right here. And what you can see right there is an armor value of 211. Now that means that, well, let's put it at 111. 11 is how many armor plates around the ship is. This means it's pretty small because 11 plates side by side covers the entire ship because it's a small ship. But as its size increases, that'll go up as well. And each additional layer, and if we actually go back to my desktop, I still have this. Now each additional layer will prevent more penetration. So one layer would prevent, just this. 2 layers would prevent this. 3 layers would prevent this. So what I'm thinking, because right now my missiles are designed to penetrate down 3 layers. So what I think that I need to do is design a ship my ship should be able to defeat its own weapon systems, which would mean 3 layers of armor would block all the damage. 4 layers of armor would require multiple hits to the exact same location to penetrate through. So we're going to put 4 layers of ceramic composite armor on this ship. And you can see it only increased its tonnage by 200. Went from 1,500 to 1,700 tons. Not too bad. Alrighty, so we don't need any of this. We don't need any passive sensors. Passive sensors we don't need. We do need... This is the active search sensors for my big missiles. And this is the fire control. Which fire control? Okay, here it is. And that's the fire control for the big missiles. I don't see either of those for my smaller missiles. Let's take a look at my set. Maybe I didn't research them. Nope, I did not. Here they are right here. So we're going to have to take care of that. So let's do one and then the other. Try to max this out. Well, we can't max that out completely. That's this one right here. So create available labs 5. So we're going to create that. 5, create. All right, so now we got to have to work. I've completely neglected that. I was like, something's missing here. Oh, the Dauntless suffered a catastrophic maintenance failure and exploded. I thought that was just in orbit around Earth. There's Mars. There it is, right there. The wreck of the Dauntless 2. I'm wondering, can I send a ship out to a wreck? Can I just... I don't think I can send a regular ship out to a wreck. Let's see. Wreck of the Dauntless. Send message, activate transmod. No, I think I need specific... Alright, so those guys are going to die. Even though they're just sitting at Earth. I'm pretty sure you need a specific module to pick up salvage and pick up survivors. Apparently, I knew it was... Life pod expired. Okay, they all perished. I knew that it was... It had maintenance problems. But I guess I must have missed a... one of the options to actually deal with that. I thought if you sent it to Earth, it would actually just take care of that by itself, but I guess not. Alrighty, 30 days. This looks like it's going to take about a year to finish, so let's put on 30-day auto turns. Thankfully, the Ross aliens are not terribly aggressive. Well, in terms of coming after me. What I plan on doing is basically building one destroyer and sending it over to there and seeing what happened. See if we could actually get into some combat. Minerals exhausted of corbamite on Earth. See, we definitely need to get into other systems because we're running out of stuff on Earth. I mean, there's still plenty of other stuff in the solar system, but Earth is basically mined dry at this point. So we go to Earth. We go to mining. So we still have very slight quantities. The only thing that's left at any quantity is sorium. And that's something we have a massive stockpile of anyway. Let's see, what are we the lowest on? And that would be neutronium. And I think we're already mining everything that has any decent amounts of neutronium on it. Actually, no, well, Venus has tons of it, but there's no good way of getting it. So, it's essentially been mined out of the system. All right, now let's go back to our ship design. All right, so how do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? Probably going to end up adding more fuel and more engines to this thing, but I want to get the weapons on first. So let's go with the... Do we want to... Let's refresh, because I don't think everything was on there. Fire... Okay, now they are. All right, so we need the... one of each fire control station. They're big. They're big. You can actually see how much it slowed down the ship by about half just putting the fire control computers on there. And that's just the active sensors, or that's the fire control. The active sensors are down here. So we would need one of each of those. And now our destroyer is up to almost 10,000 tons. Very interesting. We're kind of trying to make this ship... We might have to reclassify it as something larger than a destroyer. It's all... We don't even have the weapons on it. It's just the fire control computers. It's already... well, I wouldn't call it slow. I mean, we're not designing a ship to go 10,000 kilometers per second. It's not a missile. All right, so... We've got one of each sensor suite. One of each weapon and fire control computer. Let's see here. Now we need to go to weapons. Passive sensor magazines. So while we could put out, well, the magazines, we need to get those on there. Size of 30, so they're pretty big. But why don't we put a magazine, we put 2 of them on there, so it has a magazine size of 900 right now. And then we have the launchers. So these launchers are how big? Each one is like 550 tons or something like that. And now there's a battery of 4 of the large ones on there. And let's start putting on the smaller ones. These weigh 50 tons. Each of the smaller ones weigh 50 tons. So let's put on 10 of those. So right now, every 30 seconds, we would fire 10 anti-missile missiles. And every 6 minutes or whatever it is, we would fire 4 of the large missiles. And this is no longer a destroyer. This thing's 1,500 tons. And only has a range of 3 billion kilometers because of how powerful the engines are. So now we need to start doing things. We got the weapon systems on there. Let's start adding some fuel storage. All right, that gives the range of up to 14 billion kilometers. How much is 14 billion from like the center of the solar system? 14. Oh, that's billion. Billion. Okay, billion is fine. I was thinking 100 million, not billion. Billion is fine. We can work with billion. So right now this has a 14 billion kilometer range and can be out there for about 6 months. So we're going to have a deployment time set for 6 months. Recreational module. I think we need engineering spaces too to reduce failure rate. I have 2, so I put on another engineering space. Was the failure rate on here? Maintenance life 0.07 years. Does that mean it's gonna fail super fast? I have no, okay, just keep in mind, I haven't the foggiest idea if this ship will work. I'm not designing it to go out of the system. This is basically going to be like an interplanetary defense ship. I'm going to build a couple of these and basically set them to just hang out and defend my... Although, you know what? I don't know. What good... I don't think they're going to come to me. How big is these? It was the jump drive. It was huge. The jump drive was huge. So putting a jump drive on here would increase its size to 24,000 tons. But we would be able to leave the system with it. But this jump drive is not capable of propelling a ship this size. Oh, this is a lot more complicated than I thought. Also, this maintenance life thing, I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean it's only going to last for a few days before requiring maintenance? So let's take off that jump drive. We're going to need some sort of like jump carrier ship, I think. Or we need to make this thing smaller. I mean, we could take off the very large fuel storage and replace it with something else, right? And so 3 billion kilometers. It can only go out for, right? It seriously only has a, doesn't seem that fast. Comparatively. Oh, it is fast compared to my freighters, though. But not compared to the Dauntless. So what do I want? What do I want this ship to be designed for exactly? I'm thinking that I'm needing to design different types of ships. If I wanted to build something to defend my planets, I could do a planetary defense base, I think. Let's see. I really want this to be able to leave the system, but for it to leave the system, it has to be below 21,000 tons. And right now, that means we'd have to strip out some weapon systems. $21,500. Take off some armor. I don't know. If we're gonna put a jump drive on this thing. If we're gonna put a jump drive on this thing, it really limits what the ship's capable of doing. That's the thing. It really, really limits what the ship's capable of doing. And right now, the ship's limited by its own range. So I'm thinking as a test, what's going to be best for us, why don't we... Let's take the engine off. Let's take the engine off. Let's put some more fuel on there, so it could last for a little bit longer. Bring it up to 1 million liters. And where are my weapons? There's my magazines. All right. I think that's good. This would give me a Urgent Fury class destroyer. Although I don't know if destroyer is the correct term for a ship of 16,000 tons. It's about 900 kilometers per second. It can stay out for 141 days and has a range of 11.5 billion kilometers. But I think this is going to be more of a test than anything else. So why don't we... Do we want to classify as a destroyer? Let's leave it on destroyer, just for shits and giggles. All right. And what I'm going to do is try to build a couple of these. But right now, our biggest naval shipyard only supports 8,500 tons, which means we're going to have to add about 10,000 tons capacity to support this. So let's set activity on that. How long is that going to take? Pretty long. It's going to take a while. It is definitely going to take a while. But in the meantime, we have lots of research we can work on. Things that would be very helpful right now would be like getting better jump drives, better sensor systems, better missile engines, things like that. So let's just go to, let's see, construction production. See if, I don't think there's anything in here I necessarily want right now. The research would be nice. Or asteroid mine. Let's add, I'm going to add a lot of ones on there. So we're kind of... you know, making the best of our scientists. Alrighty, missile and kinetic weapons. So definitely there's some stuff we're gonna want to do on here. So let's do like 2 ordnance production. Let's do 2 missile reload rate 2. Missile agility 2. Can make bigger warheads. Gauss cannon, advanced radiation warhead. Let's do that as well. So we have the option, if we want to, we can make basically radioactive weapons, and then we're also probably going to want to work on more power and propulsion and sensors and fire control when it comes around. So I think we're going to end up leaving this episode right here. We did design, we cannot build it quite yet, but we did design our first, well, the Dauntless was destroyed due to catastrophic maintenance failure. It was just sitting around the orbit around Earth and then went kaput. And what do we, power and propulsion, what do we want to add in here? Provides a power boost for reactor, but also increases the chance of explosive reactors damage. That's fine by me, actually. Let's get that going. But these, the jump drive stuff we're going to work on so we can make more efficient jump engines. Because right now, any ship I design is going to be stuck into the... Oh, and we just finished that, I just realized. Is going to be stuck in the system. So we're definitely going to want to fix that. Let's... Power and propulsion. Create that one right there. There we go. All right, so if you have enjoyed this episode, just drop me a like, leave me those comments right down below, and if you're interested in more Benjamin Magnus Plays Aurora 4X, just subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.